Hey everyone, a quick video which wasn't at all planned. I was just doing some research for another video and landed on an advert which got me thinking. Basically, I was on one of my favourite websites, which is called Property de Figaro, which has all sorts of priced properties on there, well, mainly expensive ones, and looking at what chateaus are available on the market at the moment and what sort of prices the top end ones are. That's for another video, we'll get onto that later. Anyhow, I was scrolling through and I landed on, if I can find it, I landed on this photo here, which drew my attention because that, you look at that, that's like that's a nice chateau. That's like, well, nothing special. That's a nice chateau. And then there's this like massive place here. And what's more, it's in Normandy, where most of the properties, when they're up in the multiples of millions, are down further south. This one's based just outside Caen. So it's got me thinking. What got me thinking more though was the quality of the photo. The quality of this photo, well, I'll be polite, it's not very good. And so I thought I need to look at this, especially talking about a €12 million property. So first things, looking at the actual advert here before we dive into it, is actually €12 million, 8,000 metres square livable space. So that's like 85,000 square foot, 2.5 hectares, being sold by Invest in Spain. In fact, this one just down below it with a very shoddy photo for €12 million is also being sold by Invest in Spain. Don't want to say anything about Spanish agencies because I don't know any, but you've all heard the stories. So looking at this once again, the actual French description is very bad French. The property was apparently, the way they put it, instead of saying it's 8,000 metres square livable space, it sounds more like it was built at an altitude of 8,000 metres. But anyhow, knowing the Spanish, we'll let them off that one. And I don't know if you can actually see here the actual quality of the photo, but you can see that it is pretty appalling. There's more photos down here. I won't go into all the necessary stuff because they haven't done a DP or anything like that. Of course they haven't. But you can actually see the photos here. That looks like a very old photo, just the actual way they've got the gardens there and the tree lines and the houses and the coloration. That's like a 1980s photo. This one here, similar, and so on and so on, but the actual quality is appalling. I don't know how well you can see this on the video, but these are very pixelated. They look almost like they're actual been sent by someone who's printed them out on a photocopier and then taken photos. And then you've got some small ones like this, which obviously they've been downscaled. This one's completely out of focus. Lovely looking, interesting building. The photos are just horrible. Reminds me, we used to look through the old newspaper houses for sale before we had the internet. But certainly an interesting looking place. But what intrigued me was just like 12 million price bracket on it and these old photos. I've mentioned several times in my other videos is be careful of the old photos on houses, because what condition are they going to be in nowadays? Because usually when they use the old photos it's because the place is no longer like that. It's usually ramshackled, run down, no roof, who knows. Anyhow, so all these photos here got my curiosity going, so I thought it's time to investigate. To start with, I wanted to identify it, which I did very quickly. Obviously buildings like that, there's not that many of them in the market, and I actually managed to find it. It's in a small village of Villiers-le-Sec, which is basically, well, I wouldn't say halfway exactly, but not far off, between Caen in Normandy and Bayeux. Caen, you've got Caen Airport, you've got Caen Ferry Port. Bayeux known for the Normandy tapestries. You also got the actual landing beaches not far from there as well. So very popular with the Americans and the English in that area. And the actual property here, this is a little village. You can see it there already, but if I actually go on to the satellite shot, here you go. You can see it is absolutely massive. Is it worth 12 million? Another question, but it's actually massive. So I started doing a bit of research, and the first article I came across was this one in the Manche Libre, which is a newspaper up in Normandy, which unfortunately I'm not actually signed up for. But basically, it says here, Calvados, the old seminary, the old 19th century seminary has been abandoned and is in peril. In general, in France, when they refer to a building being in peril, it means it's in very bad condition. It says it was actually abandoned by its owners. The mayor is worried the floors are going to fall in. This is in 2017. So either a lot has happened between then and now, and which merits the 12 million euros. In that case, why haven't they got decent photos? Or something hasn't happened, and it's not worth 12 million euros, and it might even be worse condition. But we'll get onto that, because, like I said, got my curiosity going. So I carried on looking, because that was in 2017, that article. Found this article in the west of France, a bit more recent. This one's in October 21. Basically, I won't go into all the details, but it's basically saying that the local mayory have signed an agreement with the GIGN to actually use the buildings. The GIGN, for those who don't know, is the top-end police force, Rapid Intervention Squad, SAS, call it what you want. And they're the ones who take care of all the terrorist attacks. So whether it's for practicing or what, I don't actually know. It doesn't really say in the file. And to be honest, I don't really expect them to say in the newspaper article. It's all top secret as such. But anyhow, so I carried on looking a bit, because that was in 2021. In 1838 is when they started building the seminary, and it was going to be a school for the high studies of philosophy and scientific preparation of theology, if you know what that is. The actual school itself opened in 1843. The seminary itself then closed in, as a school, closed in 1906. During the First World War, it was actually used as barracks to house the Belgian troops. And during the Second World War, it was actually used by the Germans to store their ammunitions. Must have had a lot of ammunitions because it's a big place. Later on, it was actually went over and became a retirement home for the veterans, and that then closed in about 2000. The property was put on the market, and in 2003, a businessman from the Lyon area of France bought the place with a project to make it into about 60 flats there. Unfortunately, lots of papers went back and forward, but no plans were ever submitted, and nothing actually came of it. Then in 2005, he sold it on to a Spanish investor, and the Spanish investor had big plans to make about 60 logements, and lots of messages went back and forward, and no plans were submitted. Anyhow, this Spanish investor then held on to that for a while, and in 2016 some American investors contacted him, obviously for the links with the actual landing beaches, etc. And they offered him €2 million to take it off his hands. He refused that offer, but he did say he would accept 4. Just remember quickly, this is on the market at €12 million now, or at least with this agency in Spain. But luckily this story does actually have a happy ending, or hopefully it has, in the sense of actually another article which came out in the west of France once again in January this year, saying that there is a new investor who's actually bought the property and is going to be making it into flats, and if all goes well, the work will start by the end of the year. So that's sounding a lot more definite. Apparently the plans are already going through, and they're going to make a park area for the village and all sorts. So the mayor's really happy, and what's more, it's a special investor who's actually specialised in keeping traditional buildings traditional, so it might be interesting to follow how that goes. But what's the moral of this story? Well, as I mentioned in some other videos, when you're actually looking for a chateau, your due diligence starts from when you start looking at adverts, not just when you're visiting the houses. This property here, like I said, €12 million being asked for, bad French text, bad photos, Apparently they don't even know the property has actually already been sold. Unfortunately, I don't know what price that's been sold for, but I don't think it would be the 12 million euros. So don't fall into that trap. If you're looking right up in the budget, even if you're looking lower down in the budget as well, sometimes if the adverts don't feel right, it might be for a reason. Like I said, I don't know this agency, I don't know how they work, but it all sounds very weird. Well, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to click the old like, subscribe and all that stuff. And I'll be back soon with another video. Bye!